Hey guys, the Art Occultist here. Thank you so much for being with me on my journey. In today's video, I want to take you with me to show you how I store my tarot and oracle deck collection. So, yeah, that's what we are going to do right now, and I maybe talk to you or actually show you the decks one by one. I'm not quite sure what I want to do exactly. Uh, but yeah, let's flip the camera around and I'll show you how I store my collection. Because I've noticed that quite a lot of people have been talking about how where they place their decks in their homes, what systems work for them, what doesn't, and this is what works for me. So basically, I have my decks in different places around my home, mainly in my bedroom on my sacred space. And I have them organized by category or by function and where and how they fit into my spiritual practice. So, yeah, without further ado, let's start. So, the majority of my collection is stored in this big kind of drawers type of thing, furniture. So let's go drawer one by one. In the first drawer, I have a selection of decks that I use on my altar, here on the main altar, the Hecate altar. So I have Tarot of Vampires. This is out of print, sorry for that. By the way, the Spanish version is still available. Then I have the Thought Tarot. This is my greenie. I have the Margaret Peterson Tarot that I actually modified and I turned it into a oracle deck. I have the Soul Cards 1 and 2 that I actually modified and made into a tarot deck. I have Oracle of the Hecatean Path. Here, this empty pouch is actually for the Mary L. Tarot. I purchased it a month ago and I'm still waiting for it to arrive. Here in Bulgaria, some decks are harder to obtain than others, and you have to wait a bit longer than if you are in the States or in another place of the world, but it's okay. So I decided after a long contemplation to actually give the Mary L tarot a try because quite honestly I love the artwork in this deck in the Mary L from what I have seen online. I am not so sure about all of the Christian association that were placed in the deck, but we will see. After all, Christian associations can be found in the traditional Rider Waite, and I learned to live with it. On this side, I have more nature themed decks. Here I have my Witch Sister Tarot, which I modified, and now it is an Oracle deck. I have the Woodland Wardens Oracle, the Spirit Song Tarot, the Witch's Wisdom Tarot that I modified into an Oracle deck, Wisdom of the Wild Things Oracle, and the Herb Crafters, which I actually use for my daily pulls right now. All of those decks that you can see here are favorites of mine to receive messages from Hecate on a daily basis. Here in this box, this is actually the box from Dark Goddess Tarot that I modified, and I keep the Murder of Crows Tarot inside with the Living Goddess Oracle that I handcrafted. And this deck pairing is the deck pairing that I use every dark moon to communicate with Hecate in a more of a ritualistic way. And yeah, so I made this box for that sacred pairing. And this deck here is my devotional deck that I created for Hecate. I have a video where I discuss creativity as devotion and where I share all of the decks that I have handcrafted for Hecate. Okay. So in the next drawer, I have more of a supplies for my daily practice. I use a lot of tea lights because, as you can see, every day I light a candle for Hecate. I have my favorite incense. This is my all-time favorite. It smells divine, truly. And I also really enjoy this brand. So yeah, some oils, candles, my trash can for my incense type of trash. I have some sigil there, a Hecate spray that I make for myself to cleanse myself. So moving down, I have deck pairings dedicated to my oracular work for Hecate on the Liminal Oracle, which is my secondary channel. And I do channeled readings from Hecate for the collective there. Here I have the Art Nouveau Tarot in this custom-made box with the Isis Oracle, which is heavily modified. I have the Art Occultist Tarot, the prototype, and I have a combination between Alice the Wonderland Oracle and the Levampire Oracle deck. I chose the cards that I liked most, like from the two decks, and I created a mega deck for myself. Here I have the Centennial Tarot and two decks by Ina Segal, the Mystical Healing Oracle cards and the Heal Yourself reading cards. I took both decks and once again I combined them to create a mega deck for myself. Murder of Crows Tarot, a heavily modified version of the deck that I pair with the Earth and Bone Oracle. Here I have the Crow's Magic Tarot, which is out of print, with a handcrafted deck by me that I use for Hecate. A trimmed dot deck that I pair with the Urban Crow Oracle, Circe Tarot, and the Citadel Oracle. Great pairing, very stunning, visually stunning. And this is a thing for me that is very important, that the deck pairings that I create are visually cohesive, but they also work together on an energetic level very well. The Ethereal Visions Tarot Luna Edition, love this. It's paired with my Thought Tarot, the deluxe version by you AGM from 2023. Aquarian Tarot and the Wild Unknown Alchemy. This is the diverse Rider-Waite-Smith tarot that I created, combined with the Self-Exploration Oracle, also by me. Both are available on Make Playing Cards if you want to purchase them. Also, I have walkthroughs of those two decks and the Art Occultist Tarot if you want to see all of the cards and if you want to get one for yourself. So moving down the last drawer, those two I also use for the Liminal Oracle for my channeled sessions with Hecate. Here I have the Light Seers with the Every Little Thing You Do Is Magic, a bonded pair for me. And in this beautiful box, I have the Call of the Morrigan Oracle and this tarot deck, which is Garden or something. I cannot remember the name, but it's a very popular deck. You've seen it around, 100% you've seen it around. On this side, I have some decks that I use for clients and for people, friends, family that want a reading. So I have two oracle decks, the Sacred Destiny Oracle and the Woman of Myth, that are available for people that see me in person, mainly family and friends, to pull a card after a reading. I have this little guide. This is a basic playing card deck that I took and I created a time oracle and also yes, no, maybe, probably type of answers. I included seasons, zodiac signs. I use that for timing in readings. I have the an oracle deck that I created, but it is out of print, so I'm not going to speak about that. I have mystical medleys, Tarot of the Golden Wheel, Morgan Greer, the Uncommon Tarot, Albano Waite, Roses and Lilies 1909 from Conrad Stein on Make Playing Cards, and 2 copies of the Bluebacks AGM Rider-Waite-Smith Tarot. And like I said, all of the decks in this basket I use for clients, only for client readings, or family and friends for other people. Portals of Presence. I have a specific offering in my shop, specific reading. And here I have a Thought Tarot with Angels Tarot and a Code Tarot. I am contemplating on adding a specific reading to discover your guardian angel or demon. I haven't decided just yet if I want to offer that as a service to people. So, are you interested in something like this? Yeah, tell me in the comment section down below. So, this is in my last drawer. This right here is the Compendium of Witches. I didn't really jive well with this deck, so I think I'm going to be using it as placeholders for pick a card readings. Because the artwork is visually stunning, so why not? Then here I have Tarot of Dragons and a handmade deck that has to do with dragons. This is a project that I'm working on currently, a patchworking. Here I have the Nature's Call Tarot, another deck that I created that's available on Make Playing Cards. I also have a full walkthrough of this if you want to check it out. Then here I have 2 decks that I use for Aphrodite, a copy of the Art Occultist Tarot and the Rose Oracle combined with the Healing Waters Oracle by Rebecca Campbell. I took both decks, I chose the cards that aligned the most with me, and I created a mega deck for myself. I tend to do that a lot. Here I have 2 decks, another bonded pair, the Animal Guidance Rune cards and the Viking Tarot. I use that for Freyr. Down here I have the Mythos Tarot, uh, Goddesses and Sirens, and Gods and Titans combined, the Dark Goddesses Oracle deck, and the Dark Goddess Tarot deck. Guaisha and Notoria by Fabio Lestrani. I use those in a seasonal reading for myself. Then moving here, I have decks dedicated to Kalima in this box. So basically, I have a copy of the Diverse Rider-Waite-Smith Tarot and the Kali Oracle by Alana Fairchild. I tossed the guidebook to the trash because I didn't resonate with her writing and how she sees Kali, and I modified the deck to fit how I experience her. So this now is really aligned to Kali. Um, okay, this is a bit. And I use those two decks with those books as a supplement instead of the guidebook from Alana. Then I have the Gita cards. This set is for Ganesha here. The Bhagavad Gita book. I can never pronounce this book, but it's one of my favorite spiritual texts. And in this box, I keep decks dedicated to Ganesha to connect with him. Of course, Whispers of Lord Ganesha Oracle and the re-envisioned Smith-Waite Tarot that I created. This is a deck that I created. It's available on Make Playing Cards if you want to get yourself a copy. Also, you can see a full walkthrough on my channel. And here I keep the Everyday Witch Tarot. The Everyday Witch Tarot, just a second. And the Green Witches Oracle deck, also a bonded pair dedicated to my inner teenager witch and inner child work because I started out with Wicca. So, on my other altar, I have a trimmed version of the thought that I actually use for dream interpretation. That's why it's here near my bed. Druidcraft Tarot, Darkwood, and the Crow Tarot. And here I have a copy of the Plastic Rider-Waite Smith by US Games. All of those decks, the Druidcraft, Crow, Tarot, Darkwood, this Rider-Waite Smith deck, all of them are sacred to me. And I have a backup copies. And the Murder of Crows is another deck that I also have a backup that I consider to be sacred to my craft. Here in this cupboard, I have decks to connect to Cerberus. I have the Magical's Dog Tarot, actually, and a Oracle deck, Dog Wisdom cards or something to connect with Cerberus. Underneath that, I have the Tarot of the Hidden Realm and the Fairies Oracle by Brian Froud. This right here is Tarot of the Mermaids that I use to connect to water spirits when I go to the seaside, which is sadly not very often. So yeah guys, this is my whole collection, my working collection. I have a box of decks that is dedicated to the backup decks and decks that are not in use but I still want to keep. In the other room on my bookshelves, I have a few decks that are also not in use but are either vintage copies, collector's items, or simply decks that represent a part of myself that I've outgrown, but they are still meaningful to me. And the last part of the collection is my Purgatory box that's in another room, but those decks are for declutter purposes now, so yeah, no need to show you that. So yeah guys, this was a brief overview of how I store my decks. There are all over the place. Each and every deck serves a specific purpose in my life, in my collection. And to be quite honest, nowadays I purchase maybe one deck every few months. And only if I have a gap in the collection or I want to use it for a very specific thing. And this doesn't happen very often because I have a very strong foundation of my practice. And yeah, so I hope that you enjoyed this. And to be quite honest, I decided to record it just for my own sake so that in time I can come back and see how I stored my decks and track the progression of the collection and my practices and why I use my decks for what, etc. So yeah, my name is Elisa. Thank you so much for stopping by, for watching my video. And I really like this more relaxed type of content. So yeah, I'll see you soon. I hope that you are well and many blessings. Take care. Bye bye.